Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, and today, yes, we are back on the 1098. So without further ado, sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let us get into the video. So ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? I hope you're doing well. As you can see, I am back on old Trusty, Rusty, whatever you want to call her. But it's been a long time coming since we were last on the 1098, and we are back on her. So you're probably wondering what has happened since the last time I rode the 1098. As you guys may or may not know, I've recently acquired myself a 2013 Yamaha R1 to go alongside this old girl. And basically she's been in hibernation for the last 4 months. Since the last time you saw her out on the road, what have we done to her? She's had new oil filter, she's had the brakes bled front and back, and the clutch bled. However, it has come to my attention that right now the current situation with the front end of the 1098 is not sitting very well. And what I mean by that is that I've noticed that we've got a lot more free play in the throttle than we used to have, which I'm going to have to address. And also the front end, the brakes especially, feel ever so slightly spongy. Now that could be just a placebo effect because of the R1 having such good brakes, and the fact that the R1 has a 6-pot caliper arrangement, whereas the Brembos on the 1098 only have 4. So that could be one of the reasons why it feels so different. But I believe that there is still air in the line somewhere, which I need to address. How have you guys been since the old one's been on the channel? I hope you guys have been enjoying the content. It feels good to get back on the 1098 after such a long time. I will admit, in terms of power, the old girl is definitely down a little bit compared to the R1. However, the lack of power doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, because what I have found, just getting reacclimatized on her today, is that she has just as much torque as the R1, if not slightly more. And not only that, I don't actually have to ride her that hard, which is also kind of good, because I've got a bit of a backache today. I know the 1098 hasn't been ridden in anger for a while now. Like I've already said, it's been at least 4 months since I was last on her properly. But as promised, as soon as the 1098 has had her MOT, which is at the end of the month, which is a couple of days away from today, I will be on her more often, and I will be splitting my time between the R1 and the 1098 so I can keep the mileages down on both. Well, where possible anyway. But it's nice to be back on the old girl. You know, it's a bit of a weird one really, because I'm so used to the R1 having such a light clutch and such a light throttle response, and not only that, but also having stupidly good brakes. The 1098 feels massively inferior. Now, like I've already said, that could just be because I'm not used to the 1098 still. Well, I'm used to it, but I'm still struggling slightly with getting back into grips with it. But we shall get there, ladies and gentlemen, we shall get there. Would you believe that normally I would have my clutch lever set to number 5, which is normally quite a hard pulling action, shall we say. But now I've had to dial it down by 2 clicks, because with having that fresh fluid in the clutch, it does not need that much effort. And like I've already said, I still need to sort out the front end, because like I just said, or should I say, like I'm going to constantly repeat myself by saying, the brakes on the front do feel ever so slightly spongy. So it could be something as simple as there's air in the line somewhere that I need to address, which I will do in due course. because like I said, the 1098 is due its MOT in a little under a week, so trying to make sure she's ready. It's not a big ask, but it's something that needs to be done all the same. The one thing I can't get over is how chuggy this motor is. The R1's motor is fucking so smooth in comparison to this. And again, that's probably just me being slightly anal, because the R1 is so much newer, and also she is a cross plane crank, so that's probably also another slight reason for it. It's a bit of a cop out if I'm honest, but you know how it is. But yeah, the 1098 is back, ladies and gents. How do you guys feel about that? Do you like seeing the 1098 on the channel, or should I just stick with the R1? Admittedly, the 1098 is the one that started my channel first and foremost. That properly kicked it off, shall we say. And I can't really bring myself to part with her if I'm honest. And as new and as shiny the R1 is, the 1098 will always be my baby. I could not bring myself to sell the 1098, no matter how many issues she gives me and how much of a pain in the arse that she becomes. I loves her too much. What I don't love is the idea of getting squashed between a car and a lorry. So I'm going to sit right here. Hee hee. But yeah, ladies and gents, the 1098 is definitely back. She's not going anywhere. She sounds amazing as always. She pulls like a freight train. And the amount of engine braking this thing has compared to the R1, oh my god. And don't get me wrong, the R1 does have engine braking, but nowhere near as much as this. Absolutely nowhere near. And the other thing that people probably know and love about the 1098, or Ducatis in general, is that dry clutch and that V-twin thumping motor. I can't profess to say that I've always been in love with the 1098, because obviously when I've had issues in the past, like with the motor and the sprag clutches and eating batteries and so on, you know, in some cases I have gone, do you know what, fuck this, I don't want it anymore. But that aside, you know, she's a beautiful looking machine. When she runs well, she runs amazingly well, as you guys know from previous videos. But having her alongside the R1, it's almost like my dream garage in a way. Similar generation. Okay, yes, the R1 is the 13 plate, and yes, this is a 2007 plate. But in terms of its overall styling and its overall appeal, shall we say, both the 1098 and the R1 are very, very similar in that respect. I don't really know what else to say, you know, admittedly. The 1098 is massively old in comparison to the R1. There's what, 9-year age gap between them, something like that. But that doesn't mean to say that she's not a good bike, because she is. I've always been a fan of Ducatis in general, really, as you guys know. My first Ducati was a 748. Well, I had two of those. Then it was two 848s which got stolen, and now this. So, you know, I'm not going to turn around and say to you guys, no, don't buy Ducati, don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other. You've got to buy Japanese. You must buy Japanese. You do whatever you want to do you know what I mean? But, you know, I've missed being on the 1098. The road presence that she has, just the literal, the booming V-twin motor. You know, in a weird way, even feeling the heat underneath me is different in comparison to the R1. Yes, okay, the R1 does get just as hot, if not probably slightly hotter. Where's that ambulance coming from? There it is. But, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day, I suppose. I've always had massive amounts of love for Italian machinery. I've had Aprilias, Ducatis. I think I've only ever owned one Japanese bike before the R1, and that was the Kawasaki ZX7R. a rare beast that I didn't have for very long because I just couldn't get on with it. That motherfucking thing was so wide, it was like sitting on a sofa. But you know, each to their own, I suppose. But just going back to the whole engine side of things, between the R1 and the 1098, what I would really love to see with the R1, if it was even possible, is to get the engine mapping done in such a way that we were getting just a little bit more engine braking than what we currently have. Not by much, just a little bit. Nothing silly, just enough to give her a bit more slow-mentum, shall we say. Is that even such a word? Slow-mentum? If there wasn't a word called slow-mentum, there is now. But as you can see, every which way I look, there is someone somewhere looking at my bike. I think because the 1098 is that bit rarer compared to the R1, especially in black and red, and with this being an S model, it's got all the bells and whistles that the R versions have, just on a slightly cheaper platform. I mean, the only thing this is missing really is a quick shifter and traction control, and then it would be a 1098R. But you know, life happens, you get engaged, whatever else, you have a family, blah 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 blah. You know, it can't be helped. You know, life is something that you just can't get away from. It happens, we all go through it. But thankfully my missus is of the vein that as long as I can afford it, I can have whatever the fuck I want. And with recently getting a promotion at work, I'm able to afford things such as a new PC, new helmet, a new bike, and of course Gunner. But obviously with Gunner, that's a family thing, so not just me, that's my missus getting involved as well and putting her hand in the pocket as and when necessary, because you know that's what couples do. And I've got a feeling I'm going to get caught in some rain. Yay. Oh, if I do, do you know what I mean? You can't slow the weather down, so just ride on through it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is so good to be back on the old 1098. Okay, she's not like the R1, she's not as powerful as the R1, she hasn't got new tyres on her like the R1, but she's got all the presence of the R1, if not slightly more, because like I've already said, with her being a thunderous 1100cc V-twin, she's got all the road presence she could ever need. And hopefully I'm going to outrun this rain, because it looks like it's following me. The one thing I would say that lets the 1098 down compared to the R1 is these mirrors. They are so bad in comparison to the R1, it's ridiculous. And it's the fact that they are on such short stalks. Other than the mirrors being a bit pants, and also there's constant stalling bollocks that's still going on, other than that, she does perfectly fine. The 1098, okay, she's an old girl, and let's face it, she's seen better days. She could do with, you know, a fresh paint job. She could do with the wheels being refurbished, a new set of tyres maybe, new brake pads, especially in the front. Because let's face it, with sports bikes, if you own one or have ridden one, you will know that about 85, maybe even 90% of the braking is done at the front. And the rear brake is really just there along for the ride, do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I still love the pops and bangs that I get out of this as well, in comparison to the R1. I mean, both the R1 and the 1098 do offer their own pops and bangs of a certain degree. I would say the 1098 is more prolific, because it doesn't matter what I'm doing on the 1098, whether I'm rolling off, rolling on. See? Popping and banging like a good one. And like I've said before, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to ride the bike fast to enjoy it. Okay, admittedly this geezer in front of me could do with going a little bit quicker, but no doubt they're probably going slow because of the police car in front of us. But that aside, you know, I could ride the 1098 or the old one at 30 mile an hour everywhere, whether I stay in first or second or whatever, and I could still be enjoying myself, not having any issues, and just, you know, be enjoying myself. However, I'm gonna have to filter past this police car and hope they don't tug me for a loud exhaust. But then again, I'm not actually doing anything wrong really, it's just filtering, so I don't know why I'm panicking. But the way that the 1098 picks up, it's so different to the old one. I mean, I know I said before that the old one does sound a little bit V4-ish. I mean, in my eyes and ears, it kind of does. But that's only really when you get cracking on. When you're rolling along like this, it literally is a V-twin. Believe it or not, I actually think the 1098 is slightly more agile. I mean, I know there's going to be people that have differences of opinion, but I actually truly think that the 1098 is a bit more agile. But, you know, like I've already said, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Feel free to share them in the comments box down below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't already, please consider subscribing. It'd be great to have you on board. And if you are subscribed, don't forget to smash the like button and ring the bell on the videos so you're kept up to date with all new content when it drops. And as I always say, ladies and gents, you know, your continued support has been amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. You know, having you guys on the channel supporting me, commenting on my videos and so on, it makes what I do a hell of a lot more enjoyable. And as always, like I say, ladies and gents, I cannot, and I know I've already repeated myself like 15 times already, I cannot thank you guys enough for the hardcore 7,000 odd people that I've got on the channel. I cannot thank you enough for being there from day one, if you have been here from day one. But even if you haven't, still thank you all the same. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have been absolutely fucking awesome as always. I have been Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, saying look after yourselves, look after each other, stay safe on the roads, be aware of COVID-19, be safe, be happy, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, adios!